We're live. We are super
Oh,
live.
we are live.
Again,
Where's the
I
intro?
forgot to play the intro, but today we are going to talk Blue Oyster Cult. But here's the intro. We are back. It is episode 144 of the Metal Round Table. Yes, it is.
What are you
I
doing?
am Metal Rob.
144?
That's right. I am Metal Rob, and with me today is the great.
Today I am back to my original name, Scott Raging Waters.
Scooter Waters is in the house. We're going to have a little different show today. We are going to talk Blue Oyster Cult, but we're going to do a bunch of shout outs, and we're going to pimp some stuff that we've been working on and working with. So yeah, we're going to just get into it with a whole bunch of shout outs, and then we'll get to Blue Oyster Cult talk in a few minutes. So I will kick us off if that's cool. First of all, thanks to Paragraph Taylor for being on the show last week. He was awesome. I had a couple people message and say that he was super cool and energetic, and I just enjoyed having him on for Pantera Talk. And also, I saw Wasp video. I'm going. I was afraid that it was going to be awful, and I have nothing to base that on, but I'm definitely going to that 40th anniversary or whatever it's going to be Wasp tour. And I think we're barbecuing for Armored Saint, actually. I think my buddy and I have that barbecue. Yeah, I'll have to tell y'all about that one day. That's kind of a funny story. We got to barbecue for Ripper Owens, and my buddy has a catering business, and so I think we've got the Armored Saint gig, and they're opening for Wasp, so we'll see. But also, I want to talk about a couple of things about the show. First of all, you can order stuff from anchormerchandising.com. I think we've sold 3 T-shirts so far. So thank you to all of you for paying off our homes and forgiving all our debts. But I got these in the mail. I did some Metal Round Table buttons with the old classic logo. So I'll be trying to send those out in some packages. And we got this logo as well. Newer one that Carcass did.
Skull logo.
Yep. And yes. We have the unreadable logo.
The Pile of Sticks logo.
That's right. So eventually I'll put up a Facebook, shop or something, and pretty much basically if you'll cover the shipping, I'll send you some buttons and stickers. But I got those done at Sticker Mule. I have used them for stickers and buttons now. Scott turned me on to a promotion that they were having.
I've used them
so
for
I went
a ton
out
of
and
stuff.
grabbed some buttons. They've done the Metal Round Table stickers. You may have received one of those in a package from us before. So anyway, shout out to Sticker Mule for once again top quality merch.
Yeah, I use them for those coasters too. They do great coasters. Yeah, stickers are great. The vinyl stickers are great. The buttons are great. So I've even done keychains with them. But
I want to.
Anyhow, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about one other thing real quick, and then I want to get into some of the. Scott and I are going to pimp some label stuff that we've worked on for a couple of the labels that employ us. So you don't know about this, right?
I do not until you showed it to me today.
Okay, so I had no idea that this dropped last Friday. And what this is, if you watched the ZZ Top, that little old band from Texas documentary,
which is fantastic, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I've watched it 4 or 5 times. And when they were playing on the documentary, I thought, my gosh, this sounds good. Please let them be recording this. I see you guys all in the comments. I'll get to you in a couple seconds. Awesome to see you dudes. So they recorded it. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tracks, and it's Brown Sugar, Legs, Tush, Tube Snake Boogie, Blue Jean Blues, Give Me All Your Love. I mean, it's all hits. But I'll read you the thing inside. I just opened this like the minute before we came on the show. But they talk about how bare bones it is. But anyway, it says, in righteous memory of Dusty Hill, when the three of us got together to play these tracks at historic Green Hall in New Braunfels for that little old band from Texas documentary, it was in a very real way a return to our roots. Just us and the music, no audience of thousands, no concession stands, no parking lot, social hour. I can't read, no phalanx of tour buses, just us and the music. I apologize. I'm having a hard time reading this because of the lighting, and even with my glasses, I can hardly read this. We knew right then it was a very special circumstance, all of us in the same place at the same time, and what a time it certainly was. And obviously they did not know that Dusty would not be around much longer. So I cannot wait. I mean, obviously I love the show, and I love you too, little buddy, and you guys out there, but I can't wait to go listen to this. Let's go back and forth. Why don't you hit some of the label stuff you wanted to show, and then I'll show some stuff out of my pile, and then we'll get into B.O.C.
Cool. Well, before I do that, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Vindicator. This is their second demo CD. The first one was on No Less Metal, was all their early demos. These are their later demos. It's only at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 song EP. It's just a single insert. There's nothing else. But if you go to the Vindicator's band page and just grab it, it's actually really good. The original one, the first one was pretty raw because it was all their early stuff. This one's a little more better produced, but cool. I picked it up. I'll pick up anything by this band, and because I showed that, I'm going to show this too. I'm kind of letting a cat out of a bag, but I don't care. So this is the new Vindicator album that is coming out on No Lights Metal Records on vinyl and CD, and it should be going on sale very soon. First 50 orders are getting this cool little album cover pin. I've got friends I showed this to, and they're like, "You got to get me one of those." They literally only ordered 50 pins, so you have to buy the CD or the record to get the pin. That's just
right.
It is. So, but yeah, label stuff. So this is also on my label. This is the latest Madras release. It is not a new album. It is much like the Vindicator I just showed you. It is all their early demos from the 2000s. So the recording quality is actually really well done. Actually, somebody I know did the mastering on this. And what do you think? I think this actually, the sound is pretty good on these considering what they are.
Okay, so I'll say the same thing that I always say. Whoever recorded it and the guys that played it did the heavy lifting. They made the pancakes. I just poured some syrup on it. Having said that, man, I have had to rescue some live recordings over the past 25 years, and this thing came out great. And the thing that makes me happy is not that I was happy with it, but Tanner just gushed. He loved how great it sounded, and he was really proud of it. And that's what I dig is if the band is really happy with what I did, then I've done my job. So he was stoked on it, and yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah, and it's got a nice booklet in it. I can't remember if it's 12 or 16 pages, but lots of photos. Every demo's got a description from Tanner, and there's actually a write-up from the artist who did the original covers as well. And of course, you can't have a thrash thing without a collage, and you've got several of them in this one. So this one came out really good. It's only available on CD. It's only $10 right now. If you go to nolifetometalrecords.com or roxrecords.com, either way, I'll get you there. $10 right now. After the release date, which is coming up in the near future, the price will jump up probably to $13. But yeah, only $10 for this new Madras.
Yeah, you'll dig that Madras. It's good.
And then this is actually one that Rob didn't get to work on, but I did the layout for this one. I did not do the cover, although I did have to do some work on the cover, but that's a different story. But anyhow, this is 9 Years Denied, 7-inch single with Rob Rock on vocals on the A side and Stacey Roberts on the B side. Stacey Roberts is from the band. Remember the band The Brave?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's on there, and then it's got guest guitar solos by on the B side by Rex Carroll from White Cross. What's Fierce Heart from Fierce Heart?
Oh.
Yeah, from Fierce Heart. So really cool. So you can pick this thing up at soundmass.com if you're interested. It's like I said, a 7-inch single, and there was only 100 pressed. So if you're a Rob Rock fan,
you better get on it.
yeah, don't wait too long because it won't. Rob Rock stuff just doesn't last. And this one I'm really pumped about. Both Rob and I worked on it. This is the vinyl version of the new Fear Not. Now this band's been around since the late '80s. They had one album out under a different name. Then they got signed by a label. The label made them change their name. They were Love Life, right? Wasn't that what it was? Love Life.
Yeah.
Then they got signed by John Elefante, ex-Kansas Singers label, and they changed the name to Fear Not. They put an album out in the early 90s, kind of disappeared for a while, came back with an EP a few years ago, and this is their first full length since the 90s, pretty much. And I would describe this as just modern Southern rock.
Man, it's crushing. It's heavier than Southern rock. It's like, oh man, I don't know how to describe it. It's not Slaughter. It's not that it's not cheesy 80s metal at all, but it is good, solid, definitely Southern influenced hard
heavy rock.
But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it heavy metal by any stretch of the imagination, but it is.
The riffs, dude. Oh my gosh, the riffs and the production.
The production is outstanding.
It's a great
record. The mastering's great. Everything sounds good. I actually got to do the album cover on this. It was definitely the band's idea, and I just worked and made the band's idea come to life. And here's the back cover. You can see the band's pictures, but yeah, I mean, even the back cover, you got to get that Southern rock vibe going on there. So
yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel like it would be a if you like.
Yeah, I mean, you think Southern rock, you tend to think Lynyrd Skynyrd, Allman Brothers, Outlaws, and it's not that. It's much harder rocking than that. It's almost like a heavy Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, if you put a little oomph in Great White's rocking songs and Slaughter's rocking songs, if you put a little more I don't know, just a little more. Everything I say is going to be wrong. If it was mild and heavier, yeah, it's a it's a huge record, so good.
And then quickly one more. This is also on Soundmass, but this is the new. This is actually their first album. This is a new band. But this album took this band 10 years to record and make. But it's Trinity. It's epic doom. It's got a male vocalist and 2 different female vocalists in the band. If you're into that epic style doom stuff, that's what you got going on here. So, again, Soundmass, and I was really impressed. I really like it. I did the artwork for this one. I did the layout. The layout came out nice. I didn't hear the music before I did the layout. But you can see a picture of the band in the back there. And there's lots of grim pictures on the inside.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's brand new. It literally just came out. Brand new band. I assume that hopefully that girl's just sleeping there. But yeah, it's brand new band, brand new album. It's very much doom, epic. Like I said, a mixture of different styles of female vocals and one male vocalist. I was very much impressed. So there you go.
Awesome. So I want to get through some comments real quick. Baron Von Headbanger, always good to see you. I'm not sure what I said that was weird, but I do not doubt it. Richie, I think, is confirming the Armored Saint gig. Isaiah, always good to see you. Tony, I'm well. I hope you are. You do got to get a shirt. Have to get a shirt. You need a freaking shirt. Anchormerchandising.com. I'll put the link up in the comments if I think about it here in a minute. Yo, guys. What up, Alvaro? I hope I say your name correctly. Baron Von Hanger. Yes, now you want pancakes. Of course you do. So let's touch on this real quick before we dive in further. I honestly don't know why Alice Cooper's band needed 3 guitar players. I barely know why Iron Maiden needs 3 guitar players. But I think I agree with what you're saying. People were kind of, giving her shit for going to Demi Lovato's band, but man, go where the paycheck is. Go where if that's an expansion of your musical universe, man, get out there and do your thing. So I got uh no, it's all good. More power to her, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
she's making a living doing what she loves. There's nothing wrong with that.
no, no, no. And who cares who she's playing behind or beside or with? I mean, Alice Cooper was awesome. I never saw her with Alice Cooper, but yeah, man, get out there with Demi Lovato and do your thing. I love it.
Yep.
Oh, not you. I'm on an iPad at work. Oh, funny. Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here no matter how you're watching. Now I'm going to dive into a couple things. And once again, we've got Blue Oyster Cult Talk coming up. So, one of the labels that I do a lot of work for, and I'm going to kind of spotlight them for just a quick minute, is Brutal Planet Records. I've known Matt for many years through other business ventures and things that he and I've done together over the years, but he started Brutal Planet a few years back. But he has really stepped on the gas in the last couple of years. And so here are some of the cool releases. They've done some limited run cassettes. They did some Accuser tapes. They did Paramecium. They did this Pound Hound tape, Pineapple Skunk, which turned out really cool. Mine is unopened. But the thing I like is Matt's attention to detail. And I'm shouting out Scott here too, because Scott pretty much exclusively does the artwork for some of these labels. So I love that it stands out as a gold disc edition, but this is Ty Tabor's Safety album. Scott and I both got to work on this. If you're not familiar with Brutal Planet, you see the logo down there, just go to brutalplanetrecords.com because Matt has done some really killer stuff. The nice gold sticker on the front, I think, is a nice touch, telling you what it's all about. And there's the CD version of the Pineapple Skunk. And these have the Pro Max or Gold Max disc inside. They've got the trading cards. The trading cards are really slick. And we've talked about all this stuff before, but Matt has just done such a freaking good home run of licensing these bands and reissuing this stuff. And it's just top quality. So this one I actually opened. Sometimes I don't open them because I'm lame. There you can see Scott's killer artwork on the gold with the black, which is awesome. And then they've got the trading card, which I'll show you because I think this is pretty neat. These are a couple bucks more than some of your regular CDs, but you get a gold disc that will last the rest of your life. You won't have to worry about disc rot or any of that crap. But look at that, dude. A gold foil stamp trading card. Are you kidding? That rules. So Scott is on Matt's team just like I am, but I feel like we just don't say enough about the labels themselves. Scott and I geek out about getting to work on these cool bands that we love, but I wanted to spotlight the label a little bit because Matt's a great dude. He's been in the business a long time. We just did Corners, which that other one was I just showed you. Super Shine. I forgot that I did this one. Totally forgot that I had worked on this. And
awesome one.
I'm going to put up Mark's. Thank you, sir. I'm humbled by your comment. But yeah, Super Shine. And then I'll get over to a couple other things. I'm going to turn the spotlight on to Thrashback Records. This is my buddy Eric Hoffman out in Florida. And he puts out some killer underground, just brutality, usually thrash. This is LVI, and you can see Thrashback Records there. He also does top quality stuff. I'm so thankful to get to work with Eric at Thrashback, but go check out the catalog at Thrashback Records. If you like brutal underground thrash, reissue demos, stuff like that, man, check that out. And then one last label I'll talk about real quick. I'll go really fast. Eonian Records, I got hooked up with them over the last couple of years. I've been working with those dudes. And we just did a Hail Mary project. Yep, did Liquor Sweet. This Hail Mary is basically Leatherwolf with the name change. Album sounds great. This was a collaboration. I mastered this up along with another guy. We worked together on that. I did some of the work, he did some of the work, but the end product is really cool. And Steven and Ryan at Eonian do just top notch work. They usually come with stickers. I think that one was separate, but this one, the Jones Street, you can see the stickers in the front there. They always add some swag. And that's killer 80s metal. That's mostly what they do, is that 80s style metal. Charlotte, this was badass. Another reissue. And then Miss Crazy, you know about Miss Crazy. This is one of the latest ones, Clones. I got to work on this. And yeah, man, it's just good stuff from some labels that you may or may not know about. So check out brutalplanetrecords.com. Check out Eonian Records. Check out Thrashback Records. All easy to find on Facebook, or if you toggle the Google.
Yeah, I got a couple of test CDs here too. I wonder what these mean. Stuff coming out maybe. Nevermore, The Obsidian Conspiracy. Nevermore, Politics of Ecstasy. Self-titled Nevermore. What's it got here? Warl Dane, Praises to the War Machine.
The first time I'd ever heard that, by the way.
Nevermore, awesome. Nevermore, Dead Heart, Dead World. And that album was basically the Warl Dane album was basically a combination of Warl working with the guitar player from Soilwork. So the Soilwork guy wrote most of the music, and obviously Warl wrote all the vocal melodies and lyrics, and it's a fantastic album. And I think that, and I may be letting a cat out of a bag, but I think the version that we are releasing on Gold Disc has 6 bonus tracks on it. Can you confirm?
I think you may be onto something.
Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, to pull the curtain back from the mastering perspective, I'll tell you the honest truth. A lot of times these projects scare the shit out of me, because working on stuff that was engineered by Andy Sneap, Bill Matoyer,
Alex Perry Alice.
Yeah, and all these dudes, it's very, very intimidating. But I think I'm confident in saying that we haven't lost a patient yet. I don't think we've made anything worse. But man, to work on some of the stuff that we've gotten to work on is just really cool. But I'm not gonna lie to you, that Corner scared the freaking crap out of me. The King's X and related members, side projects, that scared the crap out of me. And the Nevermore really, really scared me to death, because they've got killer fans and that stuff is just badass, and I want to make sure that I do it justice. So,
and you did for sure, especially.
I tried, man, but I'm telling you,
well,
I just
they all sounded good,
totally sweat.
But this one, I think that the biggest improvement of all of them to me so far was the Enemies of Reality. This thing is just awesome.
Right on.
So anyhow, that's just my opinion.
Honestly, I knew about Nevermore and I'd heard some stuff, but I think it was good that I went into it not knowing a ton about it, because I think it helped me not freak out quite so much. But anyway, so let's move on to the topic. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Nevermore.
And Baron Von Headbanger still wants pancakes. Oh yeah, show the button again. I missed it. Yes. You did another one too. I think you showed it earlier.
Yes. Corner.
Very cool. I can't help you with pancakes, Baron Von Headbanger, but I would if I could. I can help you with some buttons. If you live in the U.S., I can send you some buttons. All right. Blue Oyster Cult Talk. Let's get into it. So the reason that I wanted to have Blue Oyster Cult Talk is because I have only recently developed a fascination with Blue Oyster Cult. As I've said on the show many times before, through my record collecting, I went backwards into early ZZ Top. I went backwards into Pink Floyd. I went backwards into Hendrix and some other bands that I just, I was an 80s hair metal guy. So I didn't know about a lot of that stuff, but I knew about Faster Pussycat and Warrant and Poison and Motley Crue and, Priest and Maiden and all that. But anyway, one of the bands that I went back and got interested in, but I never could really get fully on board the train was Blue Oyster Cult. I've known about Blue Oyster Cult since I was a little kid because they always had the killer covers and they had the cross and uh, uh, question mark logo, and their covers were just always mysterious and kind of mystical and cool. And I always thought it was awesome. But here's my knowledge of Blue Oyster Cult. Greatest hits. Uh-oh, what you got there? I think that's a Holy Grail record of yours, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So
New York's heavy metal sound.
That's right. Well, and I can prove to you that they're a heavy metal band. So, Cities on Flame, Red and the Black, Flaming Telepaths, Astronomy, This Ain't the Summer of Love. I didn't even know many of those songs. I knew Cities on Flame. I knew Don't Fear the Reaper. I knew Godzilla. I knew Burning for You, Shooting Shark, and Take Me Away. Pretty much is what I knew by Blue Oyster Cult. And then what the rest of the stuff I'd heard on Greatest Hits, whatever. So I had the Greatest Hits CD, and then I went and saw them. Oh, and I also had The Revolution by Night, because my two favorite Blue Oyster Cult songs are Take Me Away and Shooting Shark. Probably heresy, I know, but I love that. Aldo Nova had some sort of involvement in those tracks. But I had this album. Then I saw him live a few years ago in Sherman, Texas, playing on a pavilion for the Sherman, Texas Hot Summer Nights concert series, and they were outstanding. And after I saw them, they put out the 45th anniversary live in London, which was a tour that I saw because I've seen them several times now. Oh, yes, and here we go. This is hands down. I think this is a 9 out of a 10 album. You might be able to push me to a 9.5 or 10. I love this album. I love every note of this album. And so what did I do? I started going backwards. I've seen them tour this album 3 or 4 times. Then I got Heaven Forbid. It was kind of hard to find. I got it. And then a friend of mine on the show here hooked me up recently with, what is it? The Mystery of the Hidden Mirror. Yes. So I haven't heard it yet. But anyway, I went backwards into Blue Oyster Cult. So what I want you to do is light up the comments while we listen to Scott talk about B.O.C. Oh, and I also will argue with you, they are a huge influence on Ghost, and I do hear a lot of Blue Oyster Cult in Ghost songs. A lot of people don't, but I hear it. What do you say, brother? Tell us more about that record, first of all.
Which one?
The Holy Grail one that you were holding up.
Yeah, this is just a Japanese promo, which I showed. We did that Japanese
thank you,
promo pressing, that Japanese vinyl pressing video a few weeks ago. So I showed that one for the first time then. But yeah, this is just one that I've always wanted, never seen a copy, and have always been looking for it. And they always sell for $200, $300, $400, and I just can't spend that much money, especially something that I have all the songs for. It's just a collectible, you know. But yeah, Japanese only promo press. There was never an OB strip on it or anything like that. So it's a split between Blue Oyster Cult, New York's heavy metal sound, and of course Aerosmith on the back, which is what I showed last time out. But yeah, it was an early mid 70s. I think this was 75. So right in the middle, 75 promo thing for Japan, promoting those two bands in Japan. Blue Oyster Cult were huge at the time in the mid 70s. Aerosmith were not yet. So they're actually on the B-side. These days, Aerosmith are much more well-known than Blue Oyster Cult, much bigger than Blue Oyster Cult are, but still, just a cool item. Just one that I've always wanted to have. And I saw it when I was a kid. I was literally like a kid in middle school or high school, and it was just, I was newly into heavy metal, and I saw this, I don't know, it was in some magazine or something like that, and I was like, got to figure out who those guys are, because I loved Aerosmith. So if they're on the same label and they're called the same thing as Aerosmith, I got to check them out. So that's kind of how I even discovered them, was just seeing this picture somewhere. It had to be a magazine because there was no internet in the 70s. So But my discovery of Blue Oyster Cult was really this album, because
Okay.
I mean, this is what 80, 81. So 81, I was just barely getting it. I was in the middle school, and I was already a big fan of heavy metal, hard rock, and this thing was very popular at the time. And of course, "Burning for You" was the big hit off this album.
Yep.
But the whole album is solid. This is one of my absolute favorites. I mean, I could probably right now pull 5 and say this is my top 5 favorites, and this one would definitely be in the top 5. But they also had the song "Veterans of the Psychic War" on here, which was popular, and Joan Crawford, which was also like a radio hit back in the day on FM rock radio.
I gotta grab something. Keep going.
Hey, no Jeffrey Tubin stuff on here.
No way, dude. So I just watched this too with the not controversial, but the spectacular laser light show. I just got this in a collection the other day, and that will be going into my collection. So I've now fully watched a concert from '76. I'm trying to get into the older stuff. I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time embracing it, but I absolutely love their last.
So what albums have you heard so far? Just the stuff that you've shown so far?
Well, the greatest hits, Revolution by Night, which is all right. I like mostly those 2 songs. Heaven Forbid is outstanding, almost as good as the new one. So this is it.
Plus, all right, well, let me do this then. I didn't plan on doing this, but let's
to answer your question, I've heard most all of it. I've heard Secret Treaties, and I've heard Fire of Unknown Origin, and I've heard all those records. They just never completely catch me with the old stuff, which is funny because the new stuff I can't stop listening to.
Well, let me show you my top 5.
All right.
Not necessarily in any kind of order, but just my top 5. So we'll start with the one I just showed because, like I said, this is kind of the one that, first of all, that album cover is
it's awesome.
And so is the back cover. And the whole album is just spectacular. There's just not a bad song on there, in my opinion. I think they also had a song on here called "Heavy Metal: The Black and Silver," which is cool. But you'll fight with a lot of metalheads to the death saying that Blue Oyster Cult were not a heavy metal band. But I disagree for many reasons.
And let me tell you this: the guy that designed the logo was trying to tie in the logo to heavy metal because part of that is based on the symbol in alchemy for lead, which is one of the heaviest of metals. I just learned this. Mm-hmm. and therein it's not questioning the cross or any of that. It's based on some sort of alchemy symbol for lead, one of the heaviest of metals. Maybe there's some cross thing in there too. Maybe they were trying to throw that in for some mystique, but what I read mentioned none of that. And it was awesome. It was cool. I never knew that. I never knew the origin. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No, that's okay. Fine. I was just reading the bottom comment. Alex Fatality, a band from Albuquerque, huh? Interesting. Cool. All right. So next up, this is one, not a fan favorite, but one of my favorites. I don't think there's a single hit on this record, but it's also one of the coolest album covers ever made. Cultosaurus Erectus. Have you heard this one yet?
Nope. I've seen it a million times.
I mean, I would just buy it, and you can get it fairly inexpensive and just listen to it all the way through and see what you think.
I've got this huge, nearly 4,000 CD collection downstairs.
So it might even be in there.
And it's got, there's a ton of Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, nice. So we'll call this one number 4 since I'm putting them kind of somewhat in an order, I guess. And then to me, the first 3, which have also brilliant album covers. I love the simplistic graphics on this thing, and
it's awesome.
It kind of freaks your eye out if you watch it for a bit. It almost looks like it's moving.
Their covers were it was so good. It made the music so mysterious to me. And every time I went into the record store as a kid, I would go look at the Blue Oyster Cult records.
Yep, Tyranny Mutation. I mean, I just think these 3 are like the trifecta of perfection. Secret Treaties, which it's an okay album cover, not one of their best, but it's kind of cool. It's just And then, of course, one of the all-time most iconic albums covers of all,
Yep.
the Oyster Cult, and
Yep.
I mean, there's just not a bad song on them in my opinion. But then again, like, there's no beating nostalgia, and that's just one of those bands that I've listened to so much since I was a kid. They're like ingrained in my brain. But
Alvaro, I have listened to On Your Feet or On Your Knees, and it is good.
yep. And I also think this has come out after the full concert, but this was actually an EP, kind of forced out by the label. But man, it is fantastic. They do a
What is
cover
it?
of this is Some Enchanted Evening. You can get the whole concert now, but you know what? Sometimes these shorter albums like this are just perfect the way they are, and it could be just because I heard this thing a bazillion times since I was a kid. But it's only what, 6 songs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 songs. Um, but I love the version they do. Don't Fear the Reaper, Kick Out the Jams, Godzilla, We Got to Get Out of This Place, Astronomy, Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and Are You Ready to Rock? So they did Kick Out. Oh yeah, Kick Out the Jams. I said that one, which is an MC5 cover, which they just made it their own and
Dominate.
owned it.
So
Yep,
it's a live EP?
It is a live. Yeah, I mean they don't call it an EP, but yeah, it's a live album, but it's only 7 songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is another one that, as a child or as a kid, I mean, when you're a kid, man, you've got like 10, 15 records. At least back in the day when we were young and you didn't have MP3s and streaming, and all you had was either the radio or a record. That's your choices, or an 8-track.
Right. Well, and now we're
Um,
sleeping on beds made out of piles of money too, so we
yeah.
can afford records.
Oh yeah. Well, we work for record companies, so obviously we're rich. But
That's right.
But yeah, this thing is another one. I've played it so much, and I highly recommend checking it out. It might turn you on to some of those deeper cuts that mixed in with the hits that they do on here, just because it's got the energy, that live energy that you get from a live concert, not only from the band but from the band feeding off the crowd and that crowd energy, kind of like Foghat Live. It's a short album, but it's just perfect the way it is. In any case, those are some of my favorites. But yeah, the live album too, I was going to pull that out one as well. That's not the one. Where is it? I got it in here somewhere. There we go. On Your Feet or On Your Knees. One of the greatest live albums of all time, in my opinion.
That's what my buddy Daniel always says too.
I ranked this up there with Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous, Ted Nugent Double Live Gonzo, Kiss Alive, UFO,
Strangers in the Night.
Stranger in the Night, thank you. I mean, there's just Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. I ranked this up there with all those. It's just such a great album. And again, very curious cover, almost Black Sabbath-like. And I believe they were touring with Black Sabbath around this time, the Black and Blue tour.
Okay. Chris, it's the guitar players. It's Eric Bloom and Buck Dharma, Donald Roser, however you say it.
Yeah, this was
but they've got Richie Castellano on guitar, who's a badass, and he sings 2 songs on the last album, the Symbol Remains, and they are 2 of the best Blue Oyster Cult songs ever.
And then Alan Lanier, Alan Lanier. This is the last album he played on, because I think I'm almost positive he passed away, right?
I'm not sure, man. I really am bad about the history of the members.
I got to look it up now.
I just don't know. I know that when I went to see them, I wanted to see who was in the band, and it was the 2 main guys, for lack of a better term, guitar players, singers, But then I didn't realize I was watching that DVD the other night, and the drummer sings something. Which song did he sing? Shit.
Alan died. Alan died several years ago, longer than I thought. He died back in 2013 at the age of 67. So
yeah, he said the drummer sings "Cities on Flame" on this. I didn't know the drummer sang any songs, but anyway. So
you might notice, though, the one thing that I didn't show is probably their most popular album. I like it. It's just not my favorite, one of my favorites. But you know what their most popular album is, right?
No. Oh, okay.
Agents of Fortune, which of course it's got Don't Fear the Reaper on there. And let's see what else is on there. That's kind of Extraterrestrial Live is also on there. Extraterrestrial Intelligence. But This Ain't the Summer of Love. I don't know. I do like it. It's just when I reach for Blue Oyster Cult, this is never one of the first ones I'm looking for. But again, awesome cover art. And
Now,
it wraps around. It's one of those wraparounds too. So
Spicoli, our resident FM DJ master, keeps telling me about Imagino, so I'm gonna have to get him to text me his top 5 because I will never remember to go look at all these. But
well, might as well just show the rest.
he says, I'm gonna put his back up. Imagino, Spectres, Fire of Unknown Origin, Tyranny and Mutation, and RBN. Revolution by Night. Okay.
There you go. So there's Imaginos.
When did Imaginos come out?
Revolution by Night. Imaginos was, I believe it was like late 80s. 1988.
Okay.
And then, of course,
I've had that one. It didn't stick with me.
Most people consider Club Ninja to be a fairly weak album from them. Again, kick-ass cover art, though, man.
Oh, I love all their covers. Yeah.
But
their music videos leave a little to be desired.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to remember, though, they were a 70s and 80s band. I mean, they weren't really...
yeah.
They were all about the music more so than anything else back in the day.
Oh, man.
But
okay, Chris, it's not even a contest. If you only check out one album, the latest one from 2020, The Symbol Remains. And the highlights are Box in My Head, Tainted Blood, Edge of the World is great. Train True is probably my favorite song. And The Return of Saint Cecilia. That includes the 2 songs. Tainted Blood and The Return of Saint Cecilia are the 2 songs that Richie Castellanos sings, the guitar player that's been in the band for a few years now.
Man, I have a hard time picking only one. But I'd probably go Tyranny, Mutation, or Fire Run and Origin.
I believe Chris Manning is an artist on your label, is he not?
Chris Manning is an artist on my label. Yes, he is. And he's working on his new album, and we're hoping to work with him again, and I'm very excited about it. So, yeah, Chris is awesome. Check out Chris Manning. Go to noliketometalrecords.com or rocksrecords.com and head into the No Like to Metal section, and you'll see Chris's album there. It's spectacular. I mean, we pushed videos and, I mean, everything for him. So I'm hoping with the second album, it'll even boost the first album again, because it's really, I mean, it's just a great album. It really belongs on a big label. And I kind of really hope that we're a stepping stone for him and he ends up on a bigger label.
Yeah, and for you Kiss nuts, Bruce Kulick plays on a song too. So, and he's in the video. So you need to check that out.
And I think, and I haven't looked lately, we have copies signed by both Chris and brain fart, you just said his name. Thank you. Chris and Bruce. We had copies on there signed by both. So, but I'm also, when you talk about Blue Oyster Cult, this is a rarities collection. This is volume 2. Volume 1 is one of my grail wants. I've wanted it since it came out. Can't find a copy. Can't afford the ones that are on Discogs because they're. What's up, Glenn? Talking B.O.C.
Yes,
but yeah,
we are.
I got.
Scott's talking B.O.C. I'm riding his coattails.
Well, I mean, I'm just showing off Blue Oyster Cult collection now, but there's been so many great live albums that have come out in the last few years.
So when did the Rarities Volume 1 come out that you missed? Is that a modern record or was it old school?
No, it's a modern record. It was a Record Store Day thing from 2000. I can't read the year on this one. I hate unreadable type. Pet peeve. But it was in the 2015, 16 in that area. But there was only like 1,000 pressed or 2,000 pressed, and it disappeared, and I didn't get one. So, yep, gotcha. it's been a great. There's three different Record Store Day albums that I missed out on. That of course, there were ones that I really wanted. That one, the UFO Live at Youngstown, I missed out on that one, and the first Cheap Trick. They did a kind of a rarities or album kind of like that. Volume 1. I got 2 and 3. I missed out on 1.
Oh, gotcha.
But anyhow. A few other ones that come out. These are not bootlegs. These have come out in recent years. This is 2016 release. Live at Rock of Ages Fest, which is really, really good. It's got a nice mixture of tracks, old and new. Blue Oyster Cult Live 83 double album set. Fantastic sound quality, great tracks on here. Stairway to the Stars, Harvest of Eyes, Workshop of Telescopes, Before the Kiss, a Red Cap, Born to Rock, Hot Rails to Hell. That's a great song if you don't know it, by the way. Seven Screaming Dizbusters, Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll, one of their all-time classics. Burning for You, Joan Crawford, Born to Be Wild, another song that they've been playing for decades that they made their own. Don't Fear the Reaper and Roadhouse Blues, the Doors track. There you go. 1981, recorded live in New York.
Gosh, they've got a lot of live albums.
These are all recent releases too. 45th anniversary live in London double album.
Now I do have that. I've got that on CD because I saw them on that tour.
And the 45th anniversary Agents of Fortune live.
Oh shit, there's a DVD. Huh. Well, Scott, this speaks to the conversation we had earlier this week about the CD DVD combo. I've heard the CD, but I have not watched the DVD. So maybe that's what I'm doing after the show.
I think I showed every record in this pile except for these two, so I might as well just show them. Probably because these are just two. I like the covers. I just don't listen to them all that often. But these are some of their. They were popular back in the 70s, but this is Spectres.
Yep.
And a lot of people love this album. Is Mirrors. Probably not their best album cover. It's kind of cool, but not the best.
I had somebody tell me when I was talking about, I posted on Facebook about watching this DVD, and they told me to listen to everything up to a certain point except for Mirrors.
Yeah, it seems like Mirrors is it's not a fan favorite overall, but it seems like you either love it or hate it, because a lot of fans love it, and I'm just like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm looking at the tracks now, and I can't remember any of these songs. So it's been a long time since I've heard this one. I have to spin it again. The funny thing is I hadn't heard this one. I didn't even remember that I had it. I'd forgotten about it when you and I were talking about the other day, and I pulled out and I spun it twice already. I'm like, this is a lot better than I remember it being. So I really quite enjoyed listening to it over the last couple of days.
I have to get that.
So is it that rare?
Well, it's not that it's rare. You can get it, but man, it's expensive.
I wonder who owns the rights.
I'm complaining, but you can get it for about $20 or something.
I wonder who owns the rights to it, because this would be a nice gold disc, and it would definitely be a nice vinyl release.
Indeed, it would.
But anyhow, yeah. So this is actually this whole Blue Oyster Cult idea was actually Rob's idea. He wanted to talk Blue Oyster Cult, and I was really looking forward to having Carcass on, because I know he's a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan as well, and I wanted to kind of hear his perspective of the whole thing and whether or not are Blue Oyster Cult metal or are they not metal. That's always a fight I see people having. To me, they were one of the defining bands of the 70s metal scene.
Yeah, I think they can ride the fence. They can ride the fence between, American hard rock and heavy metal back in the day. Because
see, that's the thing. The back in the 70s, hard rock and heavy metal was pretty much one and the same. I mean, it wasn't this big division that you have now where you have to put these bands in all these different categories, and this one doesn't fit in here, it has to go over there. Yeah. Right. Don't you dare put them in here because this one's only for these bands, and these bands are cool, and these bands suck.
Right. Well, and the whole point of the show is, I even said in the comment,
Glenn Rogers, cowbell.
Yeah. I even put in the description of the show, hopefully these boys will help me out because I'm anxious to show you how little I know about Blue Oyster Cult. And that's the truth. But that's what we do on the show. Is it's just like dudes running into each other in a bar and, bullshitting about music. And so I've already learned more today. I've done some research recently, but I'm getting back into the band and trying to embrace what I have not yet embraced, but their recent stuff is just top notch, man. It's so freaking good. And the one thing they had back in the day that hooked me, even though I hadn't heard a note, was artwork. And they had that damn symbol. And so it created all this mystery.
Oh, and yeah.
Then I listened to it and I wanted it to be something that it wasn't. And then people make the Ghost Blue Oyster Cult comparison. To me, I've said this on the show before, I think, Ghost now is kind of what I wanted Blue Oyster Cult to be. I wanted it to be maybe a little more rocking than it was. Maybe I just think that Ghost is more modern sounding. I don't really know, but I immediately heard the B.O.C influence, or what I thought was the B.O.C influence on Ghost. I like Ghost. I like Ghost about 50-50. I think about half of each album is show stopping and about half of it is pretty good, you know. Now live, they're amazing. And what I wish they would do is take Blue Oyster Cult out on a major tour, because that would be killer. But to me, it's absolutely a new band paying, you know, homage to you know, some of the founders, which obviously Blue Oyster Cult were. I did get to meet Buck Dharma briefly the last time I saw them over at Legacy Hall in Plano. Uh, he came out and just sat down at somebody's table, obviously somebody he knew, and talked. And I waited for a few minutes, and he graciously took a picture with me. But he just walked through the crowd by himself. Not one person said anything to him when he walked over to the table. Nobody hassled him, and when he was on his way out, nobody even got up. And I was like, man, screw this, I'm getting a picture. And he was nice. He was really nice. And I've been very fortunate to see them over I'd say several times over the past 5 years. I've seen them 4 times, I think. I've seen them at killer indoor venues. I've seen them at a couple of killer outdoor venues, including that freaking little park pavilion up in Sherman. That was mind blowing that you're 3 feet away from Blue Oyster Cult playing this pavilion. But
yeah, I got to see Judas. Crazy. I got to see Judas Priest in a club back when they were touring, you know, with Ripper Owens singing. There was a decent crowd there, but it was literally a club. And for that matter, it was a country music club, not even a rock. So yeah, it was amazing, you know, being that close and that personal, seeing him. I was just in heaven. So anyhow, sorry to change the subject there, but I know what you're talking about.
That's awesome.
B.O.C.
The coolest club show that I saw is, yeah, we're getting a little off the subject, but it's all good. It's our show. We can do what we want, right? And feel free to comment. We'll talk about whatever you want. We've got a few minutes left.
Glenn Rogers made a good point.
Shit, I was gonna say, what did he say? Oh, Black and Blue Tour metal.
Yep. I mean, it was metal. It was the definition of metal at that time. I'm reading. We're all reading, so I got quiet.
Wow. Wait a minute. You were at that show in Sherman? Wow. Okay. It was a great show. That was my very first time to see Blue Oyster Cult. And it was one of those deals where, you know, small town has hot summer nights, and, you know, they get big bands in. They'll have cover bands and tribute bands and stuff like that. And then one of the shows later in the series, they'll have a big band. Like they've had Blue Oyster Cult. They've had, like they'll get Survivor or somebody like that, you know.
Loverboy.
And so you'll go see, you know, them at this little pavilion. And that's when I saw Blue Oyster Cult. I was like, there's no way they're going to come within, you know, 40 miles of me, and I can walk right up to the stage and I'm not going to miss it. And that's what got me interested. That's what got me. Oh, yay, a bunch of adult dating sites. This happens every other week, and I have to go delete them all. Oh, we're getting spammed. Yes.
Nice.
Watch this, jackass.
Blocked. See ya.
Yeah. They'll be back, I'm sure. Release Black and Tour French. Sorry, I'm catching up on.
Yeah, Glenn, you can come on whenever you want to.
Oh, dude, anytime. Anything we're going to talk about, if you want to talk about it, please jump on.
And I'm pretty sure I heard that your band Primal was working on new material, so that would be a nice thing to discuss.
I believe that is correct.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, come on, man. What do you want to talk about? You tell us what you want to talk about. We can talk about why Kiss uses backing tracks and if that's good or not. We can talk about Pantera reunion. We can talk about California thrash metal. I'm getting
do you remember?
very
I
important.
remember what I was going to say earlier. We got distracted as we always do. Rob and I talk on the phone all the time too because we work together and we always go in a million directions. But we were talking about the symbol, the mystery symbol from B.O.C. that I remember watching back when I was younger. All those anti-rock like preacher things where they're like trying to get scare kids into not listening to this stuff, and they were like,
Yeah.
it's questioning the cross or questioning Christianity, or it's telling you to question Christianity, and the band smartly never said a word about it. I mean, I didn't know. I just kind of back then, you're a kid, you just kind of believe the crap, and then if come to find out, it meant none of that stuff. But man, it worked for them. I'm sure it sold them some records.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one of those things where I know they were probably trying to create mystery and mystique and stuff like that from the get-go. But the album is, or even the name of the band, they used to be called Soft White Underbelly, then they were called
Correct.
something else. Then they changed it to Blue Oyster Cult, and it was all based on a series of poems. And man, I read about it the other day, and I don't retain worth crap. Why you need moderators in the chat. Yep, you are absolutely right, Thomas. Those morons. But if they come back, I'll just block them. I hit timeout instead of block because I'm a moron. Oh, hey, here we go. Yeah, what do you think about that, Scott? I'm in.
Well,
I don't know much, but I got a couple of minor Aerosmith stories.
I could talk Aerosmith till the crows come home, man. I'm such a big Aerosmith fan. That's awesome, man. Have a blast seeing them. I wish I could be there. I should PayPal you some money to buy me a shirt. Actually, I'll do that. I'll contact you, Chris, because I'm not going to be able to go see it.
Well, do we want to do hey Glenn, you want to do Aerosmith talk next week with me and you and Carcass and Chris? We could do that. That'd be fun. Get Glenn on the show to pimp Primal and talk Aerosmith.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, next Tuesday at 5, boys. Let's get this going. Chris, if you're in, let me know because I have a quick Aerosmith story, but then to just, preserve the integrity of the show and to keep it from glitching or whatever, I can just pop out and produce because Chris is going to have a shit ton to say about Aerosmith. I know you will.
You want to see something cool? Give me 5 seconds.
All right.
I actually showed you this when I was here last time. This is my Aerosmith singles collection.
Just singles.
Just 7-inch singles from Aerosmith. Yep.
I gave away a fully signed Draw the Line record.
Wow. That's worth a little bit of money on eBay right now. I see a lot of Aerosmith signed stuff on there, and I believe a lot of it's, you can kind of tell by the signatures whether they're real or not. But people ask so much money for them, and they seem like they just never sell because they just want too much money for them.
Oops. Yeah, Chris is oopsing me about giving away that record. All right, well, we've got about a minute left, so yeah, let's circle the wagons on doing Aerosmith talk next week. Sounds good to me. I've got a funny little story, and then I'll let you boys pontificate like crazy people because you know way more than I do about Aerosmith. That's for sure.
Hey, check this one out. Well, I got it.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I never seen this one before, so I was glad to get it.
All right, we're gonna get out Vinnie Vincent stuff.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah, watch this. Hang on. Check this out.
Yep, got one of those too.
Signed?
Yes, they all signed and numbered by him. Well, the first round was, so you have one of the first ones.
Yeah.
I don't think the second round was. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm looking for the new Aerosmith single I just recently got in this big pile of singles for my next video, but I'm not finding it quick enough, so we'll just have to wait until next week, I guess.
All right, it's all good. Well, prepare yourself for Aerosmith talk next week. I will alert the Carcass, and we will talk soon. Cheers to you, Spicoli. As always, thank you for all you do for metal, and specifically Texas metal and North Texas, even more specifically.
Found it.
Okay, well, show it.
So these are two Toys in the Attic Japanese pressing.
Very nice.
From 75, and a Spain pressing, which I can't. El Ultimo Niño. Anybody speak Spanish?
Last Child.
That's it. And the other side, let me see if I can say the other side, because I don't speak Spanish at all. My Spanish is relegated to Taco Bell commercials.
Tune in next week, Damien. We're going to do Aerosmith episode.
Combination. That's easier one. So yeah. Anyhow, two ones you don't see very often, and ones that I've been looking for a long time. So these things are ridiculously expensive, man. Like on eBay, 50, 60, 70 bucks. Well, I don't ever pay that much. I got this one for a really good price, and this one for an even better price. So there you go.
All right. Well, you heard it for the first time ever. I think we pre-planned an episode for a week out. We never do that. I can't. When I say that we are unrehearsed, unscripted, we are also unprepared. So literally, we are turning the camera on and just talking for an hour every week. So
and literally, that's what the show is about. It's not.
Yeah,
we don't.
What we want to do.
We want it to be.
You.
But the reason it's called the Metal Roundtable is because it's just a bunch of metalheads, fans sitting around, chatting about metal and turning people on to, dude, I love this band. I never heard of them. Well, you gotta check them out because of this. Well, that's. Who hasn't done that as a metal fan?
That is what we are here for.
I'm going to be sending a few of these pins to Rob in the next week or so. Obviously, he'll probably keep one for himself, but he'll have some extras to give away to some of you guys as well.
Yep. And check out the labels that we work for. We work for Eonian, Thrashback, Brutal Planet, Girder, Rocks, No Life Till Metal,
Sound Mass.
And there's a ton of other ones that we've done some stuff for, but those are probably our biggest clients. But they do great stuff, and that's it. So you can reach me on Instagram at IamMetalRob. You can check out The Carcass at CarcassJohnArt. He will be back next week. And you can find Scott by going to YouTube and simply searching Scott Waters. So that's all for episode 144. And I'm going to nonchalantly get the outro ready because I do this every freaking week. Outro cued. And until next time, kids, metal
will prevail.